I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think you start there and you feel like what if UBI becomes like kind of the I always say the gateway drug to becoming a drug addict. What is the gateway drug to like removing from poverty, removing from like government programs, opportunity for us to make government smaller. Maybe you start with one single program on the welfare docket with UBI, and then year 2, like we're taking away 3 or year 5, that you like slowly be like, hey, we don't need this because it's being underutilized.
You try to prove it. At the end of the day, you're trying to prove something, right?
Hey there. Welcome to the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast, where you are encouraged to express your natural thoughts and views through casual, meaningful conversations that hopefully can lead to learning and understanding new perspectives. To find out more info, visit www.gfOThoughts.com. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wong and Robert Din. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of Gluten-Free Organic Thought podcast. My name is Michael, and always with me, Robert Din.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. We have our guest today is Sean White. He's been on our show a few times now. How many times has it been, Sean, that you've been on?
I think this is number 4.
Number four.
Yeah. He's almost like a next door neighbor now. We need somebody.
He's basically our third our third podcast
co-host, right?
Co-host, yeah.
Well, this is episode 57 now. So yeah, 4 episodes. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
All right, everybody. For today's episode, this is an interesting topic. But before we get started, what are we drinking today, everybody? Who wants to start?
Drinking a combination of agua,
whiskey,
because you just got to stay hydrated, and then the botanist, number 1, Old Faithful, best gin out there.
Are you doing gin water? So you doing?
No. I'm drinking water.
Gin
and
I'm also water separately.
Why not mix it together? It's just the same. It goes to the same box.
You gotta cook separately.
Do you have does gin taste different when you add like water to it or like ice to it the same way that whiskey does?
Yeah. The whiskey tastes different when you add ice to it?
Yeah, people like put droplets of water in and
really? Whiskey? Yeah. Why?
They're like,
it's like a cooking agent.
Yeah, it just changes the flavor profile. And then they'll be like, I'll take my whiskey with 3 drops of water or something like that.
That's interesting. All right. Crazy. So what are you drinking, Robert?
I'm drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, perfect.
No wine today, huh?
No, I'm in Florida, and I don't know. Like, my family doesn't have alcohol, so like I don't bring it.
Like, they don't have a secret stash?
Well, my family doesn't really drink at all, so then I would be the only one bringing alcohol, and then I feel weird. It's like,
what if they have guests?
None of their guests are allowed to drink either. So
there we go.
Completely dry. Here we go.
Nice. All right, I am drinking this organic cold brew that I just saw for the first time at Trader Joe's. Can you see this? There you go.
In front of your face. There you go.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's.
The organic cold brew. So $1.79. Let's see how this tastes. Wait,
you're tasting it live for us?
Tasting it live right now. Live. Open it right now.
Oh, dang. All right. Let's see the reaction.
Oh, shit. I spilled it everywhere. Hang on. This is
awful. Looks like you're having a great time over there.
Okay, that threw me off a little bit.
So one question here: like, does Wong never drink alcohol on this? Because I think that the 3 other times you haven't been drinking alcohol when
there's times when he'll put like something into his coffee or something, but it's not like straight alcohol.
What are you talking about? I've drinking rosé in front of you guys before. I've drinking
specifically on the podcast. I know you.
Yeah, on a specific podcast.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
Our anniversary episode.
Anniversary episode. If you, it takes an anniversary for some alcohol to come on.
No. First of all, anniversary episode was I had rosé and I had a beer. So
there you go. See. There you go, Sean. Twice in one episode.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
But I usually do put Kahlua in my coffee on Sundays if it's recording in the morning earlier than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do not recommend this for those who are thinking about buying this cold brew.
What if you add something to it? Do you need to add anything to it? Like,
I could add probably like oat milk to it to help dilute it. Oh, okay, that makes more sense now. So it's organic espresso. That's what it is. I was like, wow, this. You know how most cold brew doesn't taste like very strong, but this is like, oh, it tastes like a whole espresso shot. Okay, that makes more
Reading
sense.
is essential.
reading helps.
Reading help, folks. Okay, don't make sure you go to school, stay in class. All right. So today's episode, it is an interesting topic. I think Sean provided a video earlier during our side chat, and we were kind of like, I guess we've seen actually a lot of this example during COVID time as well, where universal basic income has came to talks in the past few elections, and more recently the past couple of years. And one of the biggest concern, or not concern, more like I guess the attraction behind is that everyone gets this, and versus what we have today in welfare. So, just going into the conversation, I think the question we're trying to answer today is universal income, can it be better than welfare, right? And I think two things that we need to talk about considering as we move along this conversation is the cost, economical cost behind this, and the benefits. Obviously, for those who are listening, we're not pros at this. We'll just go by what we read, what we have captured, data, video,
and whatever we cooked up in our heads.
Yes, we're all and we're all different line of work, so therefore we think differently, which is great. I think too, especially when it comes to we're all different tier classes. Sean's above us now, so is Robert. So it's kind of I'm the lower tier class. So I could compare a little better.
Wow, I don't think that's how it should be measured.
Just kidding.
Also, when you were so much higher than us and we catch up to you, now you can't talk like that.
All right. So kicking out this conversation off, right? So what is welfare, right? So Robert, you want to define welfare for us, or you?
Me define welfare? So I don't know. I think in this conversation we should restrict welfare to like food stamps and
just the living.
Yeah, cash assistance. Yeah, living costs. Okay, that's good. And then universal income, basic income is pretty much everybody gets a flat fee every month, right? Are we talking about that?
Like what is it? Like who's it?
Andrew Yang, $1,000 a month.
Said $1,000 a month. And then when COVID started, he said something like $2,000 a month to every person.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the what we've been hearing in like the news.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about welfare first before we jump into universal income, right? First of all, welfare. Do you feel like personally for you guys, for you seeing, is it working for the United States? I mean, if not, why do you think it's not working?
Okay, it's definitely not working. The whole creation of welfare was so that people would be sustainable on their own. Mm-hmm. The goal wasn't to be on welfare for the rest of your life.
Correct.
A lot of people, it's kind of, instead of generational wealth, there's generational welfare. Like people grow up on welfare, and their kids go to welfare, and just like stay. There's a lot of reasons that we go down to kind of like sum up exactly why. It's like, it's easier to get welfare and get more benefits if you have more kids. You get welfare if you don't have a spouse, if you're not working. So like these like welfare
loopholes, I guess.
Welfare loopholes like stack if you do a lot of things that don't help you grow generational wealth.
So to penalize, essentially you're saying to penalize you just if you're trying to do better for yourself, they try to penalize you. Hey, you know what? You should do this instead to stay in welfare instead of do this to better your life in general.
Yeah, I mean, think about it literally right now. There's people that are on minimum wage that have been out of work when COVID happened, and they're refusing to go back to work because they have to go to unsafe conditions because COVID's popping back up. But they also are getting paid more money staying home on welfare than they would going back to work.
That's actually a good point, because if you think about it, a lot of restaurants, even Uber, Lyft, are struggling finding people because one, minimum wage is such a low amount, and then right now I see McDonald's or Burger King are providing like $500 incentive if you start work within 14 days, stay within the business, working with them for 30 days. Like they're actually doing extra incentive, and I think they jacked up the wage from like 11 to 15 now. So
yeah, but it's crazy that like you can have like a full-time job, but then when all this COVID stuff happened, if you quit your job and just got unemployment and welfare, you'd be making more money than what you
It
would
is
get
crazy,
if
yeah.
you had a full-time job.
Yeah, and I think in order to we people of welfare, do you think the rules should change though? At least to get that started, engage the rule, change the mindset, and try to somehow encourage people. Hey, go find a job. Because if you cut it off, right, you may have there's a repercussion of behind it. Because now it may cost the city more money to clean up some stuff up, right?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to think about it like a very tiered system. Like you can't do a peanut butter spread across the country and say
Correct.
everyone's getting 1,000, everyone's getting 5,000. Like the way that we did like our COVID relief checks isn't the way that we should do UBI.
No,
$1,000
first
is
of
going to be
all,
great for some sites or for some states, and it should be like much higher for other states.
Mhm.
I 100% agree with you. First of all, $1,200 in California is nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't pay a third of your rent. Like it's just
A third.
maybe a half, but like yeah, it doesn't pay for anything really.
Yeah.
Going to like a more high cost city, but if you give someone $1,200 in like I don't know middle Idaho, that takes them a long way. That'll keep hold them over for a long time.
That's at least 2 months of rent for that. A lot of people,
Yeah.
$1,200. So
yeah,
but Sean, I agree with your point. I feel like you can't just assume everyone's the same in every single state because like every state's different, population density, cost, living costs, etc. But even to further break down, like even by county, is slightly different. Like living style, living cost in Orlando versus Miami is night and day.
it's true. That's true.
So, it's the same exact thing where you go to Houston and Austin. It's night and day.
Yeah. So I think you do that calculus and then you figure out like, hey, this is going to replace that. And I think it's something you get for a lifetime. It's not something that you're doing just for a period. It gives you a little bit of financial flexibility. It gives you.
Are you talking about UBI right now? Or are you talking about your healthcare?
UBI.
Oh, UBI, yeah. So before we get into a little bit more detail UBI, but I just want to drill down a little bit more about welfare, right? So what is the connotation right now about welfare? Like it also has a bad image about it, right? Because from a society standpoint, if you have welfare, you just look down upon. That's what it is. So with UBI though, that changes the image perspective, like and in a sense, like everybody's getting it, so it's okay to get it. So the selection criteria between welfare and UBI. Now, should that be the same going forward? Let's say that I decided tomorrow, let's switch off welfare to go to UBI. Should be the same selection criteria, or should be a little bit more stingy where UBI should be like a little bit more broad?
In my opinion, I feel like, in the name universal, I think
Yeah.
it should be everyone should be able to apply for it. Everyone should be able to get it. It shouldn't be based on really anything else beyond that. And I think that you should do a simultaneous. I don't know exactly how you wave it out, but you should do a pretty short range cut of welfare and just switch over. So is it going to work cleanly? No, but
no, of course not.
When your current program is been around for plus 50 years and hasn't solved the problem that you're trying to do, you can't just keep it in because like, hey, this is what we're used to.
That's true. I completely agree. I mean, think about this. I think one of the best, most generous welfare programs are in Finland and France, right? And it's crazy but they spend a lot of money on the welfare program. Like it's like 30% of their GDP. I'm not even kidding. It's huge. And keep in mind, those countries are not even like United States. So I'm gonna post a link here. It shows you the top 10 welfare programs, and it's nuts. It's I believe because the population poverty rate is 8% for them. So but however though, one of the things with their welfare, it kind of includes a little bit more also with obviously like Medicare included in a sense. But Finland, the same thing, does like it's literally like it's probably 30% of the program of the GDP. Belgium's another one. Italy's another one. They spend a lot of money on the social programs. So it's mind blowing.
Yeah, they spend a lot. Does this do they have any like proof that this helps their poverty?
Oh no, I'm not talking about that, whether that helps the people or not, though. But in a sense, they've been doing that for quite a while, right? So for United States, right? So for United States, I believe in 2016 they spent over 1.1 trillion dollars, something like that, something stupid on welfare.
Yep.
It's nuts, you know. Even in
And like
2016,
what is our like identified poverty rate
United States
in the US?
Oh,
I think it's still the highest.
It's still the highest, actually. Yeah.
Because these have like 10% of the. It's like some are down to 5%, but they're all still around 8 to 10,
Well,
15%.
No, United States poverty rate is literally about 10.5%, and our average poverty threshold amount is 26K per family, 2 adults, 2 children. So
yeah, so I mean, we're still in line with all of these countries.
Correct. Yeah. But keep in mind, our population it's much bigger than those countries, though. So
yeah, so it should be harder to
correct
to fix, right? Or like to
hard. Well, it is hard.
For.
It is harder to fix, but it's also harder to implement too, though. Like just like Sean said, right? It's scattered around, you know, for depending in the region, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So let you know, before we switch to UBI to converse a little bit more with welfare, though, right? The thing is that with welfare is like, I think Sean, you brought this up earlier when you were talking about how it kind of translates generation to generation. Instead of forcing them to be better, it forces them to stay there, and it shouldn't be like that. So you think it would be easier to try to fix that than implement UBI?
I mean, there's the analogy, like, do you really want to just like take a broken boat and just keep trying to fix it versus bringing in a brand new one?
You mean like just touch out the hole in a sense? Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, yes, could it be fixed? Probably, potentially. But we spent decades trying to implement and change it. Like, oh, we'll add this, we'll take this away. Like, there's been tons of pushes and pulls to fix it.
I honestly think it can't be fixed. We just have too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to like our government. That like when we try to like implement something, there's always so many people trying to push different things into all these bills, and like nothing, it all just comes out as mush, right? Like it just doesn't. I don't think there's a way for us to create a system that will do what it wants to do without like being ridiculously complicated. I feel like UBI is very simple. Like it's just like it's simple enough that like the government can't even fuck it up. Like that's.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
I mean, it's possible, but like if it was just like
if anybody can do it, they can.
That's true.
Okay, UBI, universal basic income. So pretty much it consider pretty much the basic needs that you need to survive, in a sense, living costs and food. Is that just people don't know what UBI is? Is that just living costs in terms of like covering your rental stuff?
No, I don't think UBI covers that. It's supplemental money that the government is giving you to cover like your expenses. Your job should cover like your expenses. This should be a little bit of tack on to kind of say like, hey, if my expenses are $3,000 a month, this extra $1,000 gives me a little bit of buffer to do whatever I need to do, whether it's education, whether it's just social, like emotional, like mental fulfillment, because like there's a huge mental crisis in America that we need to solve. And then it just gives you a buffer if you want to like be a little risky and start your own business or do whatever. I think there's a lot of benefits outside of economic that this would help.
So obviously for the UBI will benefit different class differently, right? Where the lower class, they may be not able to worry about this month's rent in a sense, right? Or where you're a little more in the middle class, where you can take this extra money, perhaps you can use it, like you said, to start a business, to kind of add some side income, or maybe to go back to education. So currently right now in the world, there are different basic income, around the world that's being. This table here shows an amazing job at it, where it shows like certain countries and certain cities are tested out certain things for how long period of time, and also shows them what criteria they're trying to test out in regards to UBI. So take a look at that. It's pretty much a chart of I guess different program that's been going on by year in the middle, and so it tells you, hey, right now, currently, in the 2020 right now, there are certain ongoing programs like in Spain,
Well, do we need to go that far? Like, what Alaska's been doing this for like 30 years or something like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be doing different. That's because they have that oil there. You gotta send that though, and so it's different too though. You're right. That's been there for 30 years, but the amount is very low though. 30 miles. It's almost like a dividend in a sense though for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still giving people money for being there.
And also it's because they want people to come there. You know what I mean? To live there, to actually, expand.
And the incentive of UBI is we want people to contribute to the economy.
Society. Yeah. Correct. Once you have a UBI, people maybe spend more, right? Like I said. So and they said that we decided to implement UBI today, right? What would you think the right amount would be? Like you mentioned that they should vary per state, right? So like would people try to move to another state for more money, you think?
It's possible. I feel like
people do that today. Like, I mean, there's certain people that move. Like, I know specifically, like, friends, family members that are like, all right, I'm gonna work for city government or whatever role. I get paid, 6 figures being a bus driver in New York versus what I would get paid in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
I can take this, job that perceivably has like lower barriers of entry and get paid a very good living. So like people do that left, right.
Regardless, I guess, without UBI or not. That's true. Okay. So now then, you think, what Andrew Yang said, $1,000 a month will help? Or do you think is that too little?
I think it would have to have there would have to be some component of like cost of living adjustment to the amount. If we're doing it nationwide, right? Like if we're doing it locally,
minimum $1,000,
then it's different. Right.
I don't think it's a minimum $1,000. Honestly, I think you really need to just look at what the costs are, and what the states are bringing in. Like Alaska isn't solid $1,000. Like it goes, it's been less than $1,000 for some years. It's been over $2,000.
I think about Alaska, it depends on the number of people living there, and if there's a dividend fund, so the less people, the more money there is, or there's more people, there's less money there is. So for them, it's a little bit different.
So how do you think we should tackle it? Should it be like, hey, we're getting all these taxes in every year. Let's take, I don't know, 1% of it and then divvy that up, or I don't know, probably 1% is a lot, but like get a certain percentage and then divvy it back out to everyone.
So I guess the people who should qualify for a UBI is the person who should have at least a citizenship, right? I think that also part of it is that.
I mean, I think that goes without. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that goes without question. Like, you have to be like a U.S. citizen to get it. I think same way that you get tax refunds only if you're a U.S. citizen.
Correct.
I think that should be the same case for this. I think if we're trying to get rid of welfare, I think the programs that we're taking out, you look at the money that's being allocated and spent to that. That is the pot that we
reallocate. Yeah. But now
you go into a lot more people, but I think there's also the sense of like this isn't paying anyone's full month expenses. Maybe this is paying a portion of food or a portion of rent. Mm-hmm. This isn't changing anyone's
so it forces
life, and you still have to apply for this.
Okay.
I know that millionaires.
It's not automatically everybody. Okay, so let them apply for, so that way at least if you want it, you can apply. If you don't want it, that's fine.
Right. Yeah. And I know the wealthy are going to have, people that do all of their taxes and stuff. And yes, maybe they apply for this. They get 1,000 to whatever. But there's going to be a decent amount of people that let this money go unclaimed.
No, I 100% agree on that part, because they may not need it, right? And at the heart.
Sorry. If do you think that if we make people apply for it, it'll create the similar stigma that welfare has now?
That's a good question, too.
Otherwise, like if we could give everybody who puts in a tax return,
I don't think it will.
I think the stigma is going to be for probably the fringe people.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but like maybe around our range, where it's like, hey, like you're really like going in to get that $1,000 a month? Like, do you really?
I'll be like, hell yeah.
Versus,
yeah, Sean, I'm
versus
applying.
like
if it's apply, I'm applying today.
Yeah, me too.
I applied yesterday already. I'm waiting for the check.
Yeah, but I think where the judgment or stink sits is probably a much higher level up. I think there's going to be a large pool below that. No one's going to be like, oh, why are you applying for this $1,000? Because that pays for like a quarter of my rent. So yeah,
and only that this is eligible for everybody who's actually a citizen, right? So therefore, it's not like you're poor, you have to qualify. You're middle class, you're making 200K, you still apply for it. Mm-hmm. So it's not this. I don't think the stigma will be there. I feel like it's more like, why aren't you applying for it?
I think there would be a stigma, I don't know, coming from the Asian background where everyone is very prideful. It is. If you apply for this, it's gonna look bad on you, right? Versus like someone else in the community. So I feel like that stigma will be created just by making it a forced up application, other than like just giving it to them, anyone who's like.
But again, this goes. Yeah, but again, that goes back to like, who are we trying to help? Like the issue that we're trying to resolve is poverty in America. If you're trying to resolve that, the people that have the ability to be concerned about how it looks are probably in a situation much better. Like, no one that's like sitting outside in a box is like, yeah, I didn't do UBI because I didn't want my neighbor to think bad. Like,
I didn't see that blue check that comes in the mail. They saw me pull out that blue envelope, and that's it. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, listen. I feel like, first of all, I think UBI Asians, I don't think it's that bad of a thing, because I think this is pretty common already in Asia already. Singapore has that already, so does China, and so I feel like even Hong Kong has it too. Like, I don't feel like it's a bad thing, right?
No, I'm just saying in general, like as a pride thing, it could be something. I'm not saying like Asians love money and love getting free money. They'll apply for it all. Like, I agree. I'm 100%. Every Asian out there is gonna apply for this thing if they need to. But I'm just like, I don't know why there needs to be a barrier there to get this.
No,
I mean, I think part of it is like, we want people to be engaged. Like, the big activity thing is like, we want people to like spur the national economy, and like, hey, this is something that you need to do to get something. It's a very low hurdle. Like, we're not asking. Very low hurdle.
Yeah, I agree. It's like right now. Okay, so the example right now with unemployment, right? Where,
but like, also, it's probably a bigger hurdle applying for welfare than it is for like applying for this, because like when you're applying for welfare, especially, like, we're not tacking in all the things that sit under the welfare bucket. We're just like talking about like food and housing and some of the basic stuff. Like, those are all separate applications that people go to their local to fill out. And
food stamp is different, so does financial aid is different, housing is different, Medicaid is different, everything's different. Which they don't make it easy for them to apply. It is a hurdle.
So, but I also know people that probably should be getting food stamps, and it would help them a lot, which they wouldn't do because of like stigma, right, against them. Like, oh, I'm working, I don't need food stamps, right? Like,
they wouldn't even qualify for food stamp, right? People who, I mean,
that's not true. People work. No. Some people who are working still can qualify.
Oh, that's the same, but not everybody though. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like, there's some people that are like on the fringe to like, oh, they could apply and like help themselves a little bit, and they just don't do it because of there's stigma against.
I mean, I think one really good example of that is, I think most of us, when we were in college, could have applied for food stamps.
Yeah,
I know a few friends that like did, because they're like, hey, I'm not working, I'm getting like a little bit of government assistance or whatnot, and I'm in debt, But a lot of people didn't, and it is something that you again had to apply.
I didn't even know you could do it, but I would have done it if I knew about it. But I was working 2 jobs at the same time though, so I mean, I mean, if I knew about it, I would definitely apply for that.
Yeah. See. Yeah. And then we'll have people that are like, oh, later on they'll be like, oh, I should have signed up for UBI because I just didn't know that I could.
No, it's. I think education is going to come down one thing as well. UBI, it's just how you sell it to people, right? One of it's like, hey, this is to supplement what you need to do for your needs to release stress. It's not to compensate certain things. And with UBI though, like I think we need to talk about the cost of that as well, but we'll get that into a second. But in terms of the benefits, we know the benefits is there. 100% sure, right? And again, it's going to come down to how the message is being delivered, because they know that this is going to be there forever. So the question is still now, is the incentive for them to, it has to be enough where they still want to apply to get free money, but also it has to be just enough where it doesn't spoil them and it's not stimulate them from working. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it shouldn't be enough where they can live off of.
Correct.
Like that's already like a given, right? Like I don't think anybody's looking at UBI as like, oh, now I don't need to work at all anymore. I have UBI.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
so now for the cost of this, right? Do you think people were willing to pay more taxes for this cost?
I don't think we need to pay more taxes though. I think that when you remove some of the welfare programs, like that should cover the cost of
you reallocate the money. I get that part. Yeah. But I feel like with the welfare program, the money, I don't think it's enough for UBI. Now you're opening the pool for everybody more now.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough either. I think because now instead of just the poorest people that we're giving this out to everyone. That if we just reallocate, it'll just be like $500 or I don't know, probably $200 for everybody, right? Something pretty small, because you're expanding it to a much larger population of people.
Larger population, also household families too, keep in mind, so different too. So
so I think there would probably be additional taxes that would need to be added on, or reallocate other funding that we have to go towards it.
Well, or do you actually get get this, because you know how this is all on federal level right now, right? And do you get the state to participate in this, hold them accountable to make sure that certain money gets distributed correctly? And so
how do we enforce that on a state level, and allocate it on a state level?
Because you have to get the state involved to make sure you adjust the living cost of that UBI, right, already. So you have to get them involved regardless.
Well, all right. Maybe I'm trying to come from a too simplistic like viewpoint. I think the big thing is like, does this solve the problem? Like we can figure out like how we make it work or what it's it cost, but does it solve the problem? And I think it does. Like I think the big issue is like you see it across all cities across the world right now. Like poverty in tent city growth is like escalating at a rate we've never seen before. Like I thought when I lived on the West Coast, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a West Coast thing where like, you know, there's tent cities around. And I reached out to a few of my like family members, like there's tent cities in downtown Baltimore now. Like it's a growing thing and something that we need to figure out a new problem, a new way to solve. And obviously welfare isn't doing.
When you say tent city, you mean like homeless tents?
Homeless, like in downtown areas. Like it used to be outskirts of town, used to be under overpasses. Now it's on, you know, in some big cities like main streets, like
no, it's expanding for sure. But also, okay, so Sean, to your point, I don't think it completely solves the problem, because part of the welfare program is also education in it too. If you take out the welfare program, you're removing part of the education to get people back on their feet to work though. So there is welfare program does have those kind of programs to help people. Like literally, like if people, I mean, obviously those people who want to get back to their feet to work, things like that, like it does have that kind of program transition them into a career. But if you're removing that part of the program, I feel like having UBI, yes, but I feel like the education of people who actually needs to get back to work, that kind of program still needs to be there though. That kind of education still needs to be there.
I don't think we're talking about that in like our welfare.
Like, we're talking about a lot of the programs that are, you know, keeping people on welfare for the rest of their life.
Time,
They're like cash incentive.
So cash incentive.
We're essentially giving people cash incentive to do bad things.
That's true. Yeah. And so I guess with UBI though, those people do the same bad thing though?
I don't know, because
this isn't enough money for them to do some of those same bets.
Because with UBI, it covers their cost of surviving and needs, where UBI it doesn't.
Yeah. Also, like in the video, it shows like they also talk about this, where like if you reach a certain threshold, you lose your welfare completely. So
that's true.
People do all kinds of gymnastics to get to the point where they're not over their limit, so they can continue.
Well, like Sean said, right? They get penalized for trying to do better.
Right. So then, the UBI doesn't have that negative, like that drop off point.
That's true, because you could do better. You can make 100K a year, and
you're still getting
your get it's the UBI. Yeah.
UBI. Yeah.
And there's also, like, not to like fully down like the welfare program, like there's plenty of people that have been on welfare, climbed out of it, and like specifically go back to like their communities to get back. This will hopefully be like an incentive for people to also do that same thing, but kind of just like not leave that stigma of like, all right, I'm just gonna like stay here.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm down for UBI. I guess my biggest concern is just cost, because especially with a country this much debt in it, I don't know. Is that I guess obviously expert has to do some kind of analysis whether how much really this would help the economy wise to stimulate the economy versus actually the cost of that's actually utilizing. I mean, there's a lot of countries who's probably trying this right now, especially after COVID, and I mean, there's a lot of different study cases out there, so we'll find out. Hopefully,
what I really find as that I think is promising is the fact that like I feel like there'd be a lot more people taking chances because they know they have this, right? So then
I agree.
We will have a lot more small businesses coming out of this because they're like, okay, even if this fails, I still have at least $1,000. I don't have to go out and make I don't have to make like my full income that I had before.
You don't have to get McDonald's. You don't have to go to McDonald's to get another job.
Yeah, and then you can just have this as like a backup, and like, okay, we can like eat ramen for like for a little while we get everything set up and have everything. And
I agree. I do see that benefit. I mean, being a benefit as like I said, forcing people to pretty much like educate themselves more to get better jobs, perhaps. Probably help with balancing daycare. I don't know who knows how much daycare costs per month for certain cities for kids, and even parents and stuff, or even like you said, start a business, start an online business, whatever. So
yeah, and they've shown that like people who get it extra, like people who are not in like the wealthiest class, when they get more money, they're not spending it frivolously. They're actually putting it towards something that's like,
correct. Yeah,
that'll help their situation. So I don't think there will always be some people who are going to take advantage of it, but I mean you can't be accounting for.
Well, I mean,
yeah, we just have to do something that's gonna like help change and give like a little bit more of a pathway to improvement.
So I guess in this topic wise, it sounds like we're all in agreement that UBI is better than welfare. But obviously, in order to replace welfare, there has to be a certain program that will stay in welfare, but from a cash perspective, they should all be removed in a sense.
I don't think it's a, none of us on this like podcast are enough involved into the welfare like system, so we can't say like exactly what needs to be cut or what doesn't.
Yeah.
But like I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think you start there and you tell like what if UBI becomes like kind of the I always say the gateway drug to becoming a drug addict. What is the gateway drug to like removing from poverty, removing from like government programs, opportunity for us to make government smaller.
Well, to be honest with
you, maybe you start with one single program on the welfare docket with UBI, and then year 2 like we're taking away 3 or year 5 that you like slowly be like, hey, we don't need this because it's being underutilized.
You try to prove it. At the end of the day, you're trying to prove something, right? So I feel like this is why we're going back to the state level. I feel like if the state wants to qualify for this program, UBI, hey, apply for this state. This will help your state out, right? For example, if California decides to apply for this, and then you could test demo out for your state of California. Hey, UBI for state, we want to say California. Like you get people to vote into it, right? like you said, get the engagement. So this will force people to go to the congressman. Hey, can you forward apply to be in the UBI program? So, and then you have this waiting list now as people try to, as it gets, not only builds a little bit of hype, but also it's kind of builds a little bit more of, you do the test pilot the program slowly and you try to fix your kinks one day at a time. And so you could build probably a standardization out of that once you fix, as let's say, Florida applies for it, and then Florida situation might be a little different from other state, but at least you can learn something from it, whether that it's working or not. And you get more data out of that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I
think I said this on another podcast. We can't like shoot for the magic bullet. Like we have, like this problem wasn't created in 1 year. We can't expect it to be resolved at 5. Yeah. Like we have to like tailor out.
How long's the welfare program been out now? For over like 40 years, something like that?
No. It's been. I thought it was in the. I'm gonna spit out a dumb number. I think it was 1960.
Actually, I'm
1960 was when it got updated. So before 1960.
When did welfare start in the United States program? The history of it, 1939. Right?
1939.
Jesus Christ! I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that long of a history. Guess who did it?
Yeah. So let's try something different. Like maybe it doesn't work, but like you what did it say? You can't do the same thing and expect different results.
Yeah. Franklin Roosevelt. Oh, he started with Social Security. Sorry, not so. Technically, it's 1959. Sorry, the actual welfare program is 1959. Yeah. I don't count Social Security as welfare, to be honest, but whatever.
Social Security is that's
something that I will not ever get to cash in on.
None of us will cash in Social Security because it's.
I told my parents, cash in as much as you need with Social Security because we won't get the cash there.
They should they'll cash it all in and then leave some for us.
All right,
the wills.
Let's take a pause break here. We're gonna go to our extra energy session right now. What do you have for us today, Robert?
Oh, me. So me, I just have a story. So I'm in Florida for 3 weeks, and I forgot how much I hated the heat in Florida. It is so hot here.
The heat or the humidity?
Both. Like
both.
It is. What is it today? I think it's like 95 outside. Feels like 108. Like,
is it
ridiculous? Or at least that's what it was yesterday. I remember I walked out of the airport, the doors opened up, and I started sweating immediately. And I was like, "This shit sucks."
You get used to it. Don't worry.
No, I will not, and I don't want it to. I think when I was here, that's why I left, because I was like, I don't want to like this. I don't want to be used to this.
Listen, I don't miss it. I agree with you. I do not miss the humidity, and it sucks so bad. This is why I hate running outdoors sometimes right now, because it's so bad. Like it's like I don't even go half a mile. I'm already drenching in sweat already.
Like, and people are used to heat here. I went home.
Yeah, see, welfare's too much like AC. We need to find a way to make it unbearable.
Yeah, people are too used to the heat here. I went home. My mom's house was 80 degrees in the house, and I was like, "This is too hot." My dad's house was 82 degrees.
Why?
Like, why are you not turning on the air conditioner?
Wait. Does it have the window open?
No.
It's just not. There's no fan.
There's a fan, but it's like a small fan in a big room.
So he's so used to it.
I'm like, no, like we gotta turn this down. Like
maybe Robert, maybe COVID made you weak because you were quarantined for a whole year with AC.
No, I don't think that is.
No.
I remember when I was.
I think it's a generational thing. Like my Puerto Rican great uncle, he lives in Florida. He grew up in Puerto Rico, no AC, no nothing. Had a house in in Palm Coast, and essentially would never turn the AC on. Had the front door open with the screen, back door open, and the fans going.
Yeah.
Despite the fact he's got plenty of money, he's like veteran, doesn't need to worry about like his utility expense. Like, just sit here in my basketball shorts and my tank top and keep the fan going.
I
don't know. I'm just saying, like, my house ranges between 78 and 75. I guess depends in the time.
75 and 78.
Yeah, so I
think 75 is my limit. Like, that's where everything should be.
But I mean, you get used to it. I don't know. Like I hate the humidity. I hate the humidity. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But being back, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it as it is. Every day is a sauna.
I also hate like I even when I was when I'm in California, I talk to people about how hot it is. I'm like, well, really, everyone has AC. We run from AC to AC, but that in between is still like ruthless. Like I really hate it. Like going from the store to your car and then waiting for your car to cool up. It's still bad.
Hey, try to have a bonfire right now outside in the nighttime.
And I was telling Sean earlier, I remember when we were in college, there was multiple years and multiple summers where I didn't have AC in my car. And I was just like, all right, I'll just put the window down and go as fast as I can to get some air in. Yeah. But like I can't do that now. Like
I say, you become spoiled. That's what happened. You know?
Yeah, that's what happens.
All right, so Sean, what's your funny thing today?
I sent you guys a video.
Ooh, the video. Let's see the video. Where is the video? The TikTok video.
Sean sent the TikTok
video. Let's watch this. So those who are listening, it's pretty much a TikTok video of a lady doing a swing, and it's gonna hit some kid.
Yeah, you got to run up. So like essentially, kids at the park, but his mom is swinging on the swing.
You think that's a mom? Hang on. You think that's a mom?
I don't know. Just assume it's.
Oh no! Okay. Oh man, he's walking back and forth between.
Oh, he's walking back and forth. Oh my god!
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like it's gonna end well.
Oh my god! It's going back and forth.
He
twice.
Really got knocked over.
Oh, so he got knocked over eventually, though. Oh, the second time around. So he went back twice.
Oh.
Listen, he tried.
Yeah, he just like flew too close to the sun. You know, some people don't read Greek mythology, but we'll give this kid an Icarus book.
You think he flopped though? I can see they barely.
You think he flopped? Is he LeBron James?
I know, right? I don't know. Watch this video. Like, did he get really hit? Or did he get hit or flop?
He got hit, bro.
He flew.
He got hit.
He got uplifted. I don't think that kid has. If that kid can jump that high, they need to stop doing TikToks. They need to put them in sports. Everyone.
Why would the mom not stop?
I don't know. If
it was behind. It was behind her the first time.
I don't know if this is the mom. This might be like a sister or a cousin or even just like.
And you can tell there's an adult on the left side. By the way, there's an adult on the left side who's not doing anything.
I mean,
and who's filming this? The person who's filming this probably also looking at this too.
Yeah.
Bad things happen. People like to pull out the camera.
I'm just saying, like.
But at the end of the day, I got a few laughs and chuckles. So that's
nuts.
That's what we need.
All right, so mine's not funny. Mine's kind of cute in a sense because it's so weird. I never seen like a pinwheel puppies. So pretty much it's a video of these puppies getting fed. But they go in circle. Is it like I think it's like 8 or 9 puppies, and they go in circle and they just clean up the whole bowl. It's kind of weird. They go counterclockwise. It's like I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 puppies, and they just literally eat the whole time.
Whoa! Give me a little motion sickness, but it is pretty cute.
But it's so random though. Why would they do that though? That makes no sense. Why don't you stay in your own spot and you eat your own spot?
Yeah. Right, trying to get exercise.
So they put it down, and the dogs are spinning around in circles. There's like six dogs,
7 dogs. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Man, why would they do this?
Right? I don't get it. Like how
That video is also going back and like backwards and forwards and stuff. That's why you're feeling.
That's probably is too. And then I have another one I can pick, but this one is pretty funny too because it's a sign. So pretty much, so it literally titles. I wonder how many times this happened. It's literally a stop sign. It says stop. GPS is wrong. The road ends here.
This is a picture.
Yeah, it's a picture. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna let it load for a second.
It's that Florida internet, man.
That Florida internet does not work well.
to load an image. You want your dial-up?
I don't
Loads
know.
up one line at a time image.
It's my uncle's internet, so that's what.
I mean, we're hearing just fine. So
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's taking a while.
Well, here we go. Maybe this will help.
yeah, the image right there.
Oh, you're sending it? Oh, I got it. It came up finally. Stop. GPS is wrong. Road ends here.
So
Is this a real sign? You think it's a real sign?
I don't know. It looks like it. It could be Photoshop. Who knows? But it's still pretty funny that it's real though.
Yeah.
Is there
the humor
funny?
is real. The humor is real if the sign isn't.
Is there funny comments to this? I remember one day. Well, there was one time we were going somewhere. I don't know. We were like leaving. It's me, my mom, my dad, and we were leaving their friend's house and getting out of their neighborhood, and and so like we saw a sign that said dead end ahead, but my dad was like so sure he was going the right way, and my mom was like, "Hey, it says dead end," and he said in Vietnamese, he's like, he said "Gay na," which means like he means like, okay, let them do what they want to do. Like, let them say what they want to say. This is the way to go, right? So that's what he said. And he went down to the end of the block, and he's like, "Oh, this is a dead end." we're like, yeah. I told you that. That's what it said earlier.
That is pretty funny, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I normally don't do Reddit, but another friend sent me a Reddit video that's a little apropos about your motherland, Dan.
Oh,
my motherland.
Just saw someone post a new picture of his pet, and what is that? I can't tell. What is it? Is it alligator? What is that?
Yeah,
snake?
it's alligator.
It's an alligator. That was funny.
Yeah, but the comments are pretty funny below. It's like this is the most Florida thing in Vietnam.
Yeah, that is funny. That is hilarious.
It's a guy with a pet alligator or crocodile. Yeah. Oh my god!
When a Vietnamese man is infected with Florida.
Yeah, that is funny.
I'm gonna go back to Vietnam with my alligator.
There we go. All right. So this part of the episode, I'm curious to know. I have a question for both of you guys. All right. So if you had the desired amount of UBI, what would that be for you? Just wondering.
I think it's 1,000 for me.
Really?
I think 1,000 works.
1,000 for you. Really?
Yeah, I think 1,000 doesn't drastically change anything.
Do we get to just choose a number? Like,
yes.
I'm gonna say $100,000 a month.
No.
Just give me whatever money is out there. I'm okay with it.
Realistically, though, let's say that you obviously cannot pass more than $3,000. Or how about this? It cannot pass your more than 80% of your rent. Okay.
More than 80% of my rent. Okay.
It will not pass more than 80% rent.
I'm glad I live in San Francisco. This question.
Not more than 80%.
No, but obviously that would change if you go to a different state, though, right? So.
Yeah, when I was in Florida, my rent was $1,000 a month.
Okay, I guess would an ideal number be half of your rent? Would that be enough?
I think that's too much. Honestly.
Half of your rent?
I think it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we really want a service that's like doing what we're trying to do, I think maybe 25.
Half of your rent, though.
25%.
People live at $1,200 and half of the rent $600 a month.
I'm not saying that. I just think that rent for a decent amount of people, like the rent range is crazy. Like,
yeah,
I think back to Oxford Manor in Gainesville, like what we were paying like less than 1,000. Yeah, like
yeah. I know.
Yeah. I was paying $1,000 5 years ago for a 2-bedroom apartment. So
I guess I was paying $700 per month in Gainesville. So I was paying the most, and that's the most expensive part too.
Yeah, and I was in a nice spot. So
yeah, I was right from school. So
yeah. I mean, I think 1,000 is like that median line, and it goes somewhere up and below from there.
So $1,000 for you. How about you, Robert? What would that be?
$1,000. I mean, it would depend on the city, right? But like, probably if I was in like Florida, say we're living in Florida.
Yep.
Florida would probably be 1,000. I think in somewhere like California, you'd have to make it 2,000.
I think Florida for me it had to be 1,500. For me,
1,500.
If I say Florida, 1,500. Yeah.
But that pays your like full rent easily and
Yeah.
you can live off of $1,500 a month.
Well, I mean,
I lived off $1,500 a month.
I don't think we should let Wong answer this question, given like Wong's budgeting and how he likes to.
That's true.
Wong hasn't had HBO for 15 years because of his financial hardships.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. I don't have HBO at all.
He's at it so tough, as a consultant.
I like the idea of like somewhere around $1,000. To do a little bit up, a little bit less, depending on it, because
you think Andrew Yang
is never going to be a crush. Because I think the big thing is like one of the things Andrew Yang was pushing for was like, I'm actually speaking of that, is like I'm not getting rid of welfare. Like this is a staff supplement welfare, and I think what you do, the way you make this work is like, yes, it's going to be a little more expensive at the beginning, but you stack this on top of welfare. And slowly you phase out.
Yeah, I agree.
Out pieces of welfare, so it's gonna be a lot more expensive at the beginning. But I mean, yeah, the 3-5 stimulus checks that we passed out, like we didn't have a budget for that. Like we find a way to do something that's gonna.
Dude, I hope we don't roll off like that, because that stimulus budget thing, the way they roll off stuff is so horrible. Oh my god.
I mean, it's okay. Like when it all pays out, I'll move to Finland or something like that, and not have to worry about this.
It's funny because like I feel like the stimulus was supposed to help supplement people's income that they've lost, and it was so low, so that like I don't, it was like $600 every 6 months or something that people got, something like that. Like 600 is low, like that for 6 months, right? Like I don't like.
And it took 3 months to roll it out.
It took time to roll out. It felt like I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it splinters out and branches out way too much if we try to figure out like how the government does it or whatnot. I think the question is like, should we be doing something different?
No,
and I think it's pretty clear we should be doing something.
I definitely agree with your point, Sean. It definitely needs to try to change the boat for sure. I guess the question is so how you change it. That would vary. That's a whole different conversation we could have. But
I wonder what the counter argument is against it. Like what if we like? I feel like three of us. We might be like in different.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the same things that
we
people
are
perceive welfare for. I think it's a lot of the same thing. People are going to use the $1,000. They're going to smoke weed. They're going to like do
drugs.
Not smoke weed because weed is legal now, but they're going to do like they're going to spend this frivolously. And I think it comes down to like people that are on welfare more times than not are not using that extra money, harmfully. There's a lot of people that are fake not married, fake not living together. Correct. To get all of the
you're gonna have your
benefits.
People. Yeah, you're gonna have those people who are gonna be.
What do you mean, you people?
You people, yeah, but but you're gonna have people.
Mike.
Wait, I'm gonna get canceled before we started. No, but for real, like it's just there's gonna be people who's gonna try to take advantage of this no matter what, and that's for sure. That's 100% for sure. But the question is, though, like, do we let those people ruin that program for everybody else? Like, you know what I mean? Like that, that it's just like if 80% of people are benefiting this, it takes about 20% to ruin that. Is it really worth it to cancel the program, right? And I think one of the top 3 arguments against UBI is one is laziness, right? Will people be not incentives to work? It's like, and I think Sean, we kind of answered that a little bit earlier before today. Like it will actually give them more freedom to kind of work, but also at the same time we're thinking about it from our class level. We're not thinking about it from other side either as well, though.
I also think like that's why the amount shouldn't be enough to cover so much. It shouldn't cover your whole life. Otherwise, you definitely would have people that will not do anything.
I think that should be the equivalent of I get to go out on an extra date night or something like that. I mean, I'm dumbing it down.
Dang,
but like,
you got $1,000 date night, Sean?
No, what I'm saying is like this should be the equivalent of like an extra nice thing.
Yeah,
this doesn't buy me anything sustainable that I would do like month over month. That's
true.
This is extra nice. Like I think one of the videos or articles I was watching was talking about like this isn't always going to create new business. This isn't always going to pay for people's like
it's
groceries or whatnot. Sometimes this is going to relieve stress from people. Somebody might decide to start up an art studio or take an art class or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
there, yeah, I had a friend of mine I was talking to. We were talking about UBI or kind of. We were talking about how automation is gonna get rid of jobs and stuff,
That's
and then
true.
we need to like have a supplemental income like in Star Trek, where everyone just doesn't have to work. And then I asked her, I was like, well, won't people just like stay home and not do anything? And her thought was like they get bored if they're not doing anything, or they don't have a sense of purpose. So people will go out and just start doing what they want to do instead of doing things for money.
Well,
think about think about the rich. Like they don't just stop working.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
They do something. Some way they like end up blowing the money. Like either they start becoming like serial entrepreneurs, or
they go to space.
Or they marry really young women that blow their money. Like one way or another, like people are going to do something.
Yeah. I agree with you, but part of the argument is this, that it can also is a very excessive cost of program, and it can help
compared to what?
Well, not just, it's just now that you're tackling on top of this, like you said, you need a transition period to reduce the welfare, right? Overall, like it's going to be a costly program, and it is going to expand that cost because now we're expanding to everybody else too now. And then there is a different, a lot of people talked about the inflation behind this as well sometimes. So it can also kind of like, as a result, like when everybody's spending more money and prices can go up as well, they can raise the prices because there's more demand in that, right? They can also kind of cause some kind of inflation reaction. Who knows? But we don't know until we tested this out.
Yeah, but that would be sorry to cut you off, but that'd be the same thing now. Like people got a stimulus check, like prices on things like haven't gone up. Sometimes they do, sometimes
sorry. Houses have gone up a lot. Cars have gone up a lot.
Beef and chicken.
Food has gone up a lot.
Yeah. a decent amount of that is
shortage. That's because shortage. That's because of shortage. That's not because of UBI. I get that, but that's a whole different conversation we have.
I'm gonna include that in with the stimulus and throw that back in your faces. That's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, but I mean, I feel like all the pros outweighs the con. I still feel like this is Sean, to your point, like is a program that's definitely to be tested out, and I just think that there's a lot more pros where it could help reduce poverty, it could help with wages, it could help breaking the cycle. And then with like automation coming in, like you said, Robert, like a lot of those jobs are not going to ever come back, right? And so you can also charge a VAT taxes for those people who are automating some certain things to help cover that cost of the UBI. Because now, that's what they do in Europe, by the way. Like if you want to automate some stuff, there's a VAT fee tax for this stuff, because guess what? You're reducing such a number of overhead. You're gonna, even though you're making more profit, so you take a chunk of that and you get taxed for that.
But you're pushing against innovation, which I don't like.
Well, I mean, you technically not, because
you technically are, because you're taxing for every automation that you do.
But that's the thing. There's a fine line on the amount, right? Like, I'm not saying like, so let's say that you cut 100 jobs, right? The company saves literally almost, let's just say, $500,000 every, and I'm just throwing a number out there, $500,000 a year, right? There should be at least a 1 to 2% tax on that versus
no.
I don't know. I personally think, because the things that right now, it's
I think we have to push people.
We have to push people into jobs that they're gonna get into next.
No, but that's
I don't think that's like taxing to like improve our lives is a bad
thing. I mean, because that's the same reason. Like if we go with that policy, like we'll never be out of fossil fuel. We'll never be out of a lot of areas that are like currently productive. Like you have to move forward, and if a few people,
I don't think
probably not the most ideal like view on it, but it's like if few people have to like suffer for that for the greater good, like
no, I get that.
Be it.
Well, the thing that VAT tax can help supplement that program to teach people to educate them, hey, to get another job. I get it, but I feel like those businesses who can afford that because guess what, it only benefits the profit right now dramatically for them. And cutting 100 jobs for a business, I mean, they can save a lot of money for just because of automation piece.
I just strongly disagree with that, because like if you don't give, the only way companies want to spend as little money as possible.
Correct.
If you take away the ability for them to decrease their margin, they're not going to drive to improve things. So I just don't. I strongly disagree with
so
standing
you're
in the
saying
way
that
of optimization.
We're going to get more taxes anyways because the increase in profits is going to be taxed.
Well, not really, because a lot of companies have loopholes to avoid that, and
that's not on your tax law, right? Like you should change that instead of changing adding another tax on top, because you add more taxes, you never take them away.
Well, the thing is that you're adding a tax towards the technology piece of that. So I don't know. I see where you're going. Like you're taxing innovation in a sense, but there has to be some kind of, because you're the value added tax piece. I feel like it plays in a role where it's significantly, it's significantly impacting the economy. Like for example, imagine think about it. Imagine Walmart automates everything, right? You only see one employee, whatever it is, and you're losing literally thousands and thousands of jobs for lower people. Those people, now what? How did they learn to find other better jobs, right? There has to be a program for them to get trained, certified.
But I don't think that comes from the company. I think that comes from the government. I think that comes from them saying, like, all right, like Den said, like we have to set up a pipeline where the companies are starting to pay their closer to their fair share, or if not, like truly their fair
close
share.
Loopholes instead of adding more taxes on. I think that's a better, easier job, because we have so many loopholes. Just like get rid of them.
Yeah, that's one way to do that as well, to solve that issue, because I feel like there's got to be some way to cut offset some of this extra cost here coming from UBI. So because I think UBI program is just be sufficient. It has to have education around it, like. And if people see the benefit of UBI, showing that, hey, listen, hey, you can take this $1,000 to learn, get certified. You can take $1,000 this to do this or do this. Like you say, Sean, people they will learn. They see that, okay, you know what? I will apply for this, and it gets them engaged already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
At the end of the day, UBI is for the win, and let's slowly phase out
until we find something better.
Sean, just run for Congress, man.
Yeah, I don't want to take pay cuts.
But you know what? Benefits for life.
Again, I don't want to take pay cuts.
It's okay. It's okay. You got your wife working soon. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna end this episode. We are typical rants. So Robert, what do you want? What do you have for us?
Oh, you want me to start the rant?
Yeah.
So my rant is that Russell Westbrook got traded to the Lakers. And I find that ridiculous.
Why? Please tell us why. Please tell us.
Because it's ridiculous. Like, why does LeBron need more people?
AD asked for it, not LeBron. AD asked for it though.
It doesn't matter. Like, what? Everything goes through LeBron, right? I feel like, everyone was like, oh, they got the Nets got James Harden. They do all this against a 36-year-old freaking guy. KD's 33. It's not like he's that much younger, right? Like. These it's just like two powerhouses just like keep building up.
How old is Westbrook now? 32, 31?
He should be like 1 year younger or older than Durant.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
he's younger than Durant. But he's pretty beat up. I mean, to quell your anger, then this is not going to work. They lost their only shooter in KCP.
True. Yep.
And now they have their 3 best players are all interior scorers.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It's going to blow up.
Yeah,
so
don't worry. Shoot threes, okay, guys.
By the way, Westbrook's 32.
I saw him shoot a 3 in Steph Curry's face and say, "I didn't see anything." Like that, I can't see anything. Like, yeah. All right, he can shoot.
Well, okay. So I kind of agree with Sean in a sense, because KCP literally was the butter that held them together. That shooting,
which sucks.
Yeah,
like that's your best 3-point shooter.
Yeah, it was crazy. KCP literally could score on the well. And Kyle Kuzma was I feel like he disappeared this season though. But with Westbrook though, the things now who's hogging the ball more now between AD and Westbrook? LeBron could play off the ball.
No.
AD doesn't hog the ball.
Like, AD doesn't hog the ball, and
LeBron can play off the ball.
Westbrook is my best player in the league post Kobe. So like he gets a lot of crap for like being a high utilization. But look at the end of last year. Like he was dishing it to all of the players.
His triple double is crazy. I get
no, but just outside of the triple double, like
he's lowered his scoring a lot.
Yeah,
so
his scoring dropped.
Have you seen his turnover ratio though?
It got better at the end of the year.
Okay, no, that's fine, but his turnover ratio is still horrible.
Yeah, but his assist ratio is like really, really high. So like
I'm just
he's
saying,
gonna.
it's
Didn't he
pretty
do
bad.
like 20 something assists in the game or something
Yeah.
at the end of last year? He's
I'm not saying
he's become more
he's
of a distributor than a
I mean,
Yeah, he
ball
was
hog.
turning almost into a
now
Draymond Green,
who
where he
does the
was just
Laker
like,
now?
I'm only gonna put up like 15 shots a game.
Yeah.
Wait, who
And
does Laker has now? Hang on, as a bench now. I'm just wondering now.
it doesn't matter because also like there's news that DeMar DeRozan is gonna like wants to sign with them.
The Clippers? No, it's with the Clippers.
DeMar DeRozan?
The Clippers
Already?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to get to the Clippers, not to the Lakers.
No, I heard that he'll take less to go to the Lakers. And
I
then
feel bad for what's called. I feel bad for Phoenix though, man. They're gonna have a tougher times now with the West.
Whatever.
I want Phoenix to go back to the NBA final next year, to be honest with you, because they're a
It's
fun
not
team to
gonna
watch.
happen.
They're a fun team to watch though.
yeah, unless the Lakers all get hurt again, which I guess is possible with the guys that they have.
I mean, you got the Warriors coming back healthy. Like there's just a lot
Charlie
of
Clay's
stuff.
coming back next year.
Clay's coming back.
Clay's coming back, and they're gonna get Bradley Beal. So
I'm hoping that
so?
we trade for Bradley Beal. Like that's what I was.
Who we give up though for Bradley Beal? That's the question.
Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman. We had 2 draft picks this year.
James Wiseman is good though. I would like to keep James Wiseman because he's going to develop really.
I think he's good too. But if you can get Bradley Beal, like I feel like that's.
How old is Bradley Beal now? 33, 34?
No, he's not that old. He's like 30.
Yeah, he's younger than Westbrook.
29, 30?
No, he's younger than Westbrook, really?
Yeah.
He was like a couple years after, like 5 years after us.
Yeah,
so.
he played Florida for 1 year. I know that. So he's 28. Wow, he's 28.
Yeah, he's young.
He's young. I knew he played Florida for 1 year. That's all I knew.
But I think even without Bradley Beal, I feel like the Warriors with adding Clay back, it like spreads out the floor more, makes it better for them.
Well, Wiggins has gotten better throughout the year.
Yeah, and also we forget they were the eighth seed before. Yeah, they were the eighth seed
before Steph got hurt.
Yeah, no,
like at the end of the year they were 8th seed.
Yeah, so you add Clay
and Steph got hurt throughout the year. Draymond was hurt throughout the year.
Well,
Wiggins got better as the year went on, and Wiseman got hurt at the.
What's his face decided to show up at the second half of the season? What's his name? What's his name?
Kelly Oubre. But Kelly Oubre. He's gone. He's like wants.
No, but he started showing up the second half of the season though. So
yeah. I don't know. Lakers are just like they're getting too many players, like too many stars.
All right. So moving on. So Sean, what's your rant?
My rant is sorry, folks, for the LA specific rants, but LeBron James went to a Usher concert this week.
Nice.
And on his way walking to the backstage area, a fan tried to approach him, and LeBron gave him, a stiff arm.
He basically just threw him into the stands.
Really?
Hurt him so bad. No.
Is there video for this?
It was literally just like a slight show.
There's video for it. Yeah,
okay.
Like he pushed
like, please
the person.
maybe don't run up on me.
Wait, was it bad though?
No, it wasn't bad at all. He literally he literally stuck out his wingspan and said stay at least this far away from me.
So what exactly happened to them?
Everyone's just in an uproar. It's like, LeBron's assaulting fans. LeBron needs to be sued.
I think the fan is super weak because or LeBron doesn't know his own strength, right? Like it's like it looked like he was just barely touching him, and the guy flew. It was just I feel like
he didn't even fly that much. He didn't even fly that much. The person just essentially stopped walking forward.
I think the fan is flopping as much as LeBron was flopping.
LeBron,
That's what he was doing. Yeah. He was just trying to show LeBron.
He's a true stand.
True stand. That's what it was.
Yeah, but anyway, I just think people need to respect everyone's personal bubble. One, there's COVID going on. Two,
well, the fans shouldn't be there in the first place. So yes, I agree in that part.
I mean that's what fans do. It's a concert. They're.
No, it doesn't matter though. I don't care if it's a concert. The fans shouldn't be doing that at all to any celebrity in general, to anybody.
Yeah. No,
but
I agree
it's
there,
a concert, right? People are close to each other. It happens.
Oh, there's no rope, anything like that. I just see this video, I guess. Yeah. And he had any bodyguard?
Yeah, the bodyguard continued to push like other people that tried to come.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. My rant is that in the past 2 weeks, my car got hit in the same spot. One was a hit and run in a parking lot, and I was livid because I was like, I literally got this bumper fixed 4 months ago for this same exact situation, and so they hit me, hit and run, never left a note, and then today this girl pulls out in front of me and literally hit the same exact bump and made the dent worse.
I mean, I don't think the worst dent is the bad part about this. Also, the girl hits you and you know who it is now. So you can
at least I know who it is
you
now.
can get a free bumper now.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I wish I didn't have to drive. I miss California lifestyle where I didn't drive, had to worry about this kind of stuff, which is nice. So I didn't drive in Florida. I mean, California was nice.
I mean, could you Uber around in Florida
too?
Right
now, man. It's too expensive right now.
Is it too expensive? Is it because there's no drivers?
There's no drivers right now. To go 2 miles, $25.
You got the money. You're balling out. So
yeah, just expense it.
Just expense it. Exactly.
What?
You're a consultant. You're a consultant. Expense it all. It all goes on the company's dime anyway.
First of all, I can't travel for work, so therefore I can't expense anything. Okay.
It's not that you can't travel. You elected not to travel. Well, that's a difference.
For health reasons. That's probably why. Okay.
There's a difference.
All right. So that's a different story. You're right. Okay. But therefore I cannot expense anything. So yeah. But anyway, that's my rant though. For the drivers, listen, you learn how to drive better. That's all. Just learn how to drive better. Just get off your phone. So like you can tell that girl's on her phone too. So
I know other people that are on their phone when they drive too.
Yeah, I agree. But still, just anyway. All right, so folks, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about UBI and welfare. What are you leaning towards too? If you're on welfare, let us know what the good and bad things about it, perhaps. Or
we might have missed something, right? We probably missed something about.
I'm sure we did.
What's good about welfare, because we've only heard bad stories about it. And then if you have any ideas on why UBI is bad, like
drop a comment, let us know for sure.
Comment.
Or you're listening, you're in a country who's receiving UBI, let us know how it is.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, well, again, please subscribe, hit below the subscribe button, smash the like button, and you can find our other episodes at www.gfothoughts.com. And you can always please, subscribe to our Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can find us, leave us comments. And anything else, Robert? Did I miss anything else?
No, thanks for coming back on, Sean. Do you want to pip anything out?
Nope.
All right.
Well, enjoy Denver, Sean, and hopefully you settle down a little bit more now.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're gonna go out there, okay, to do some hiking, okay? So.
Sounds good. All right, boys.
See you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. Until next time.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast. As always, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave us a comment. If you are listening to us, please leave us your honest review on your preferred podcast listening platform. And as always, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GFOThoughts. Drop a comment and give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, see you then.